What's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of Missflips. In today's episode, we are flipping my boyfriend's parents' kitchen while they are away on their 30th wedding anniversary. And we're hoping to get it done by the time they get back. Will we? Who knows? Let's find out. Let's go check out that kitchen. So as you can see, this kitchen has got some really good bones, and all it really needs is a fresh new coat of paint to give it just a more updated look. So we're gonna do exactly that. So the first thing we gotta do is remove all of the cabinet doors and the hardware so that we can get to cleaning all of the surfaces. It is surprisingly important to make sure that the same screws go with the same door and hardware. So to make it a little easier for myself, I just went ahead and taped the screw into place in the cabinets that they go to. And then we did it about 60 more times. So now that all of the cabinet doors are off, it is time to get to cleaning everything. So we have numbered all of the cabinet doors and made a map of everything so that all of the hinges can fit perfectly back into place and we won't have any trouble with closing or opening them. But before we get to moving the cabinet doors outside, first we have to set something down so that we don't get any of the paint onto the garage floor. To protect the garage floor, I'm just laying down some brown paper that I got at Home Depot. I will link this in the description below. It works great for just a general protection and it keeps everything nice and clean. That way the cleanup is a lot easier. And this is my secret method for applying tape. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm thinking about copywriting it. So here we have the chart. These are our upper cabinets and then these are lower cabinets on the back. And I numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth. And per door, not per cabinet, but per door. That way I can label the hinges lower 1, upper 1, lower 2, upper 2, and then we're gonna lay them out on here accordingly. So over here is gonna be like, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, blah, 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 blah. That way they're all in order and we can keep track of our hinges and not lose any screws and all that jazz. While my partner was getting everything cleaned outside, I decided to get started on the inside. So I started taking all of the hardware pieces off, and then I taped all of the drawers off. That way none of the paint would get into the drawers. And then I got to cleaning the surfaces with a vinegar and water solution. To scrub everything down, I'm using a coarse sponge and then a wet cloth that's just wet with water, and I'm wiping everything off afterwards. Vinegar and water is a natural alternative for a degreaser, and it works so well, especially in kitchens where you're working around food and all that sort of stuff. I just really prefer it to a chemical degreaser. Once everything was all cleaned, I went ahead and got to taking all of the hardware off and labeling each piece. To label it, I'm masking over the screws so that they don't fall off, and then I'm wrapping it around and I'm labeling it in accordance to the map that I drew out initially. And then to match them up with whatever hole they go into, I write it in the hole and then tape over it so that when I spray the paint, it goes on the tape instead of on the number. I'm also making sure to put 1A and B to make sure that I know that this is A for the top of the door and then B for the bottom of the door. So for all of the hardware in the kitchen, we are replacing them with knobs, so I'm going in with some Bondo and filling in all of the holes that we're not going to be using. And I honestly recommend working with a lot less than this, just simply because of how quickly this dries. But don't worry, I caught my rhythm along the way because there were a lot of doors for me to learn my lesson with. I let it dry overnight and then went in the next morning with a hand block sandpaper to get all of the excess Bondo off so that it would be nice and smooth once we painted over it. And finally, it was time to mask everything off that wasn't going to be painted, and honestly, this was kind of satisfying. For measuring out your plastic wrap for cabinets, I personally like to measure the width first, and then you pinch it up into a little ball just like this, and then snip it, and then you do that for the length of the cabinet as well. It may take a little practice getting it right the first time, but once you get the hang of it, you'll come out with a perfect cut almost every time. Once everything was masked off, I was finally able to go and do all of my prep work before painting, and this included liquid sanding as well as bondoing out all of the hardware holes so that I could drill new ones. By the way, guys, for those of you who don't know, I am an actress and a filmmaker, and I am producing my first short film that is about a furniture flipper who takes on a haunted piece. If you want to read more about it, or if you would like to find out how to support the film, make sure to check out this link, or you can visit the link in the description below. And while I was busy liquid sanding the inside, my partner was outside doing the exact same things to the doors. And at this point, you might be thinking that, hey, you know, it's about time for painting. And you know what? You were right. It was time for painting. And then this happened. And paint was everywhere. And I worked frantically trying to roll out all of the dots before they dried. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get to all the dots, so we ended up having to sand every single cabinet door smooth the next morning again. And so that took a really long time, but hey, once we finished it, I was able to get my paint sprayer and get to painting, and it was a breeze from then on, baby. I personally like to drill in my hardware holes once the paint is all done. That way I don't have to mask off all of the holes and make sure that none of the paint gets through with some tape. And because that would just be a longer process than it needed to be. And yeah. So once all of the hardware holes were in, it was time for that touch-up paint, and then we were good to go. So now you get to see the method to the madness, and as you can see, this makes pairing the hardware so much easier. There's no scrambling trying to figure out which one went to which. It is so easy, and it makes the finish a little less painstaking because let's face it, putting on hardware and installing over 20 doors, man, it's a lot of work. But this just makes it a little bit easier. Once all of the doors were back into place, it was finally time for the most satisfying part of the entire project, and that was de-taping, de-plastic wrapping the entire kitchen. Alright guys, as we are coming to a close here, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this week's video. We got some awesome stuff coming out for you guys in these next couple of weeks. Don't forget to check out the link to my upcoming short film, The Grain. You can find it in the description below. Make sure to stay tuned, hit that like button and subscribe and do all those things so that we can stay a happy flippin' family. And until next time guys, stay flippin'.